Hi, welcome to Pet Gotcha Day Live. We're with the Pet Gotcha Day Foundation. My name is Erica Bischaff, and I'm the founder and leader of the pack of Pet Gotcha Day. Crystal Brocardo, my co-founder, is not here today, but I have a very special guest that I'm very excited to talk to. This is Jackie McClellan. She is a volunteer with Alive Rescue and a volunteer with Fix Chicago 2019, which we'll be delving into and learning more about today. So before we start, again, we're the Pet Gotcha Day Foundation. If you want to contact us, our email is packcontact@petgotchaday.com, and our website is petgotchaday.com. And of course, as always on this show, you can feel free to call in. The call-in number is on the screen. We're happy to take calls throughout the show, and we'd love to hear from you. So to get started, just wanted to talk a little bit more about the Pet Gotcha Day Foundation. So as a foundation, we started about a year ago, and the support that we receive, we use that to provide at-risk and senior pets rehabilitation and help finding the homes that they deserve. So we do this through several different means. We will work with shelters and rescues to rehabilitate. We'll provide funding to shelters and rescues that need rehabilitation for their pets. We'll provide medical care. We'll provide, it's more like a grant that we provide for medical care. We've purchased supplies for shelters and rescues in need. We also do a lot of work with outreach. So we work with different corporate partners, and we work with their employees, their staff, or even their patrons. So we've got several different hotel partners that we work with their guests, and we host on-site pet adoption events. So we can provide more exposure to pets across a much broader range of people. And we're able to educate these, our corporate clients, staff members, so they learn more about animals, and they're happy too because they get to take some time out of their day to volunteer. And they'll either host on-site adoption events, they'll go volunteer at shelters and rescues, they might just provide fundraising or collect supplies for those in need. So we do that. And we provide exposure for shelters and rescues that might not get the exposure that they would like to have, or to the magnitude that they'd like to have. So a lot of shelters have that physical presence, but rescues are sometimes very understated because they'll take in and foster dogs, cats, any type of animal from open intake shelters, and they need help socializing and communicating the pets that they have available to the public. So that's where our Pet Gotcha Day website comes into play. And again, that's petgotchaday.com. And through our website, we use the power of video, so both standard video as well as fully immersive 360-degree videos to get pets adopted. So that's our foundation. I'd also like to talk about a few of our upcoming events. So this Saturday, we have our big event called Heroes to the Rescue. We do this every year, and we partner local heroes with adoptable pets to get them adopted. This year, we actually have two different sets of heroes. One of our heroes to celebrate is our local teachers. So we will be bringing teachers in. They've been nominated by their school, their principals, or their school districts, and they'll be helping to get pets adopted. But this year, we got a special call from our friend Batman, and he's bringing 11 of his superhero friends.
11?
11. So we're going to have 12 superheroes at our family-friendly event this Saturday, November 3rd, from 3 to 7 p.m. at 115 Bourbon Street in Marionette Park. And they're going to be helping get pets adopted.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. We've got 5 different shelters and rescues coming. We have popcorn machine, balloon animals, face painters. We have a DJ who actually works with Steve Dale.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. She's coming to perform. We've got several other fun activities, but the kids get to all meet their favorite superheroes.
I like that.
I know, it's pretty cool. My daughter's excited.
I would be excited.
Yeah, exactly. So it's fun. So if you'd like to learn more about that, visit our Facebook page. Just look at Pet Gotcha Day, and you'll see lots of information about our event. But it's called Heroes to the Rescue, and tickets can be purchased on Eventbrite. The other big thing that we've been doing, and this is what I'm really excited to talk to Jackie about too, is we've been organizing a series of discussions with the mayoral candidates in the city of Chicago. So a few weeks ago, we met up with Paul Vallis. On November 19th, we will be meeting up with Lori Lightfoot. And I believe early December, we will be meeting up with Gary McCarthy. And we've got a few others in the pipeline. But the whole idea is, and this is open to the public, so if you're interested in learning more, you can jump on our Facebook page as well, where you get to come and listen, or you can provide feedback to these candidates in terms of what's working well, what you've seen isn't working well, what your concerns are. And it's also an opportunity for some Q&A to hear what these candidates have to say and how they're integrating animal welfare reform into their platform. So it's very exciting stuff.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, we're busy. And again, you can get all this information on our Facebook page. Just look up Pet Gotcha Day and it'll all be right there. Or you can go to our website, petgotchaday.com. And you can always email us at patcontact@petgotchaday.com to get all the information that you need. So, next week, actually, I think I talked about this last week, that we are going to talk about virtual reality and pet adoption today, but that'll be next week. So be sure to tune in for that, where I'll show you the power of 360-degree videos, how that works with a virtual reality headset, and how that makes you feel that you're virtually transported to these animals, and you get to, it feels as if you can touch and pet them and be a part of their environment, so you get to see who that pet really is, and it allows them to put their best paw forward.
I like that.
Yeah. So that's our
cute
little tagline.
It's cute.
Yeah. And we'll talk about, I'll show you some examples. We've had several adoptions happen as a result of the immersive video. And what I'm most proud of is that we've had adoptions of pets that haven't had the best luck, where they've been passed over, or maybe they've been returned because it hasn't been a good fit. But through video, potential adopters were able to get to know these pets before they entered the shelter, and they were able to just know who that pet was. So they went in having the right expectations, they met the pet, fell in love, and the rest is history.
Exposure is key.
Yes.
That's really cool.
Yes. But we'll talk more about that next week. What I want to talk about, though, is a live rescue and Fix Chicago 2019.
Sure. Which one do you want to start with?
Well, first, let's talk about a live rescue, and then, of course, I'm going to show you guys actually a video of one of their cuties that's up for adoption.
Absolutely. So I'll apologize ahead of time. My voice is a little hoarse. I'm a little sick, so keep a distance. Okay, a live rescue is based in Chicago, and actually one of the largest volunteer-run organizations in the city. We primarily take most of our animals in from open admission shelters within Chicago. Our niche is taking in animals that other organizations may overlook. So this could be sick dogs, senior dogs, special need dogs, things like that. So really great. And I think, again, out of our whole network, there's probably only 3 full-time employees. So it's
That's impressive.
very large volunteer-run network, and it's been a big inspiration working with that group for me.
I find this to be so amazing because we work with over 3,000 shelters and rescues nationwide.
Wow, that's a lot.
So I've seen different models across the board, but what I haven't seen is a physical shelter that's primarily volunteer run.
Yep. It's really amazing. It's such a dedicated group of people. It inspires me every day.
And where is Alive located?
It's on Belmont, a little bit past Levitt.
Okay, so that's basically near Western and Belmont.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, there's a physical facility. Do you know offhand how many pets they typically have on site?
Sure. So on site, we don't really, it's not like the regular shelter where people can come in how they do to anti-cruelty and kind of look. It's more, that location is used for scheduled appointments or people that are coming in to fill out their adoption paperwork, but most of our animals are in foster care at the moment. So again, thank you to Alive Rescues Fosters, we could not make it work. So primarily foster care. I think
Okay.
at the barn we have anywhere roughly 20 animals, but usually kittens, puppies, lots of puppies.
Do you ever have bunnies? Or
We do have the bunnies there. Some of the bunnies
guinea
are there.
pigs?
Not guinea pigs that I know of.
Okay, but sometimes?
Yeah.
Spiders?
I'm sure there's some spiders.
It's funny, I am terrified of spiders, but I always end up talking about spiders because we have one filmed in 360, so you watch this tarantula in VR, and it terrifies me, but I'm fascinated.
They're very helpful creatures, but they can keep their distance from me.
Yeah, that's okay. So I won't give you the VR glasses with that one.
No spiders, please.
Yeah. So maybe, do you want to take a few minutes to explain the rehabilitation process?
Sure. At Alive or just in general?
What you do at Alive?
So it kind of just depends on the animal, and I think in the case of Wendy is a good example who we'll talk about soon. It just depends on their circumstances. We do an evaluation process to determine how they are with other animals, or she's so cute. Kind of just figure out what's going on with them, and from there involve ourselves in figuring out what the next steps are before they're up for adoption.
Okay, so what's the typical length of time that a dog or cat that needs rehabilitation might stay with a foster?
I'm actually not sure on that. I'd have to ask Kristen, who runs Alive. I'm not sure on the time frame, but again, some dogs come in from CACC that are perfectly fine and ready for adoption.
Okay.
You know, they go through the process, but then some are petrified of people.
Yeah.
And need an ISO foster, or maybe they're really sick and they have mange or something like that.
Yeah.
So we have to keep them quarantined from other animals. So I'm not exactly sure on the time frame, but it really does depend on what happened to them.
Okay. And then do you all just coordinate interest with the fosters and meet at the barn? Or how do the meet and greets typically work?
Sure. So once somebody's interested in an animal, they submit an application on the website. I actually know this because I had to go through the process to get my kitten from there.
Oh, you adopted from Alive?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
So you fill out, before you even meet the animal, so it's
Okay.
kind of a unique setup. You fill out the paperwork, the application, which is extensive. So a lot of rescues or shelters would say that, or people would say that it's longer than other rescues, but that's because everyone at Alive and Kristen feels responsible for every animal that comes through those doors. She's not just going to give them to anybody. So you fill out the paperwork. It also asks for references and vet references, personal references and vet references if you have a current pet. So from there, one of the adoption coordinators will call you and set up a time. They'll do a phone interview with you and kind of ask you some questions. Then they'll call your references, talk to your vet. And the vet is just to make sure that if you have any pets right now, we want to make sure you're up to date with all your vaccinations. You come in for your annual exams, things like that.
Okay.
Then they set up a time to bring the pet to your house.
Okay.
So they do a home visit.
That's smart.
Yeah, we want to see where the pet is going to be. We want to see, and not to, be strict or harsh, but sometimes people don't know, okay, well, a cat's going to knock that off the shelf. And, so just kind of get an idea for where the animal's going to be once they leave our care, because that's very important. So then after that, we always ask that we let the adopter take one night to think about it.
Okay.
Even if you're sold right on the spot, which I totally was with my kitten.
That's how I was too.
I was just like, oh, I'm ready. But they ask you to take a night, and then you can let them know in the morning if you still are interested, and then you will come to the barn and finish up some paperwork and go home with your pet.
That's really smart. It's fun. So I adopted a Great Dane named Piper.
Wow.
Actually, you'll see a picture at the end.
Okay, good.
And nobody warned me about the power of that big tail.
Oh my gosh. My friends have a Great Dane Lab mix.
Oh, they're beautiful.
So beautiful, but
Great
just
Dane Labs.
huge, just massive, and the tail is just everything down.
Everything.
Sweetest dog, but yes, you gotta kind of clear the tables.
She takes my poor daughter down. But they love each other.
That's all that matters, right?
I know. In return, my daughter gets to ride Piper.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Very nice dog.
She's going to be a horse for Halloween, by the way.
Oh, how fitting.
Yeah, right?
I love it.
All right, well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you know how many pets were adopted, last year? I know I'm putting you on the spot.
Actually, I do because I'm doing the annual report. I know the
Okay.
exact number. 226 were adopted.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and we're shooting for more this year. It's definitely going to be possible. And actually, we were just gifted a 70 acres in Salem, Wisconsin.
Come on.
With a barn.
70 acres?
70 acres with a barn with money to rehabilitate the barn, and we're going to use that as another facility. It's going to allow us to more than double our intake.
Wow, 70 acres at barn.
Yep, they were previous adopters from Alive and just fell in love with the rescue and what we do.
I need to meet people that have 70 acres.
I know, right? I was like, wow. So, no, extremely
I'll go live
lucky.
in a barn with a bunch of dogs and cats.
We're starting with dogs. We have a lot of birthing suites, so it'll be really good. It'll allow us to make a lot of change, and then we can also expand into Milwaukee.
Wow, do you know when that will be ready?
I think we already have the architectural plans, and we're getting some quotes from contractors, but I'm hoping next year, if not the year after. But construction definitely starts next year.
That's awesome. The other thing that I personally love about Alive is you take care of the local animals, but like when the hurricane hit, you had a caravan with supplies down in Texas, right?
Absolutely. I think it was 10 or 11 volunteers that went down with trucks just full of donations, and we stayed there and helped, brought a couple animals back. Yeah. It's really amazing what these people do.
That is. Well, before we move on to the next topic, you have to meet this cutie. Her name is Wendy.
And Wendy was Live Rescue's 1,000th rescue.
Wow.
So she's kind of a big deal.
Wow. She's so cute. What kind of mix is she?
Shepherd mix. We're not exactly quite sure.
Okay. So just your great mix.
Yeah.
It's perfect. And we've got a video of her too. Let me just pull that up. Of pure cuteness. Hope you're ready.
So Wendy was brought in from CRISP, which is a Before the Door program outside of CACC. She's so cute.
So funny.
She's so cute. She was completely emaciated. We could barely feed her anything when we first brought her in, and she's taken a long time, but she's a beautiful soul. Everyone at Alive absolutely loves Wendy, and she's very calm. She gets a little bit of energy, but overall very calm and just the best dog.
I can see that. So she's available for adoption.
She is.
Okay, so if somebody's interested, they can contact Alive Rescue.
Absolutely.
What is your web address?
www.aliverescue.org.
Okay. Come on, great. Oh, she's super cute. Well, hopefully we'll find an adopter.
That would be amazing.
So let's switch gears since you're kind of our multitasking guest today. Fix Chicago 2019.
Absolutely.
So I learned about Fix Chicago 2019 when I started hosting these mayoral discussions, and we had so much in common.
Yes.
But you're doing so much more.
That's not true.
It's so true. I'm scratching the surface. So what is Fix Chicago 2019?
Sure. So this is a campaign that we decided to launch in order to try to save more treatable and rehabilitatable animals in Chicago. But we figured that because the elections are coming up, one of the best ways to ensure that we can put our best foot forward or our best paw forward
yes, your best paw.
is to try to get a mayor and aldermen in office that care about animals and animal welfare. So right now, the biggest part of the campaign is interviewing each of the mayoral candidates and the alderman candidates and asking them the same set of questions and trying to gauge their likelihood to support humane initiatives in the city. And then we'll be publishing that information for our followers and then through paid marketing.
And you have, what, a 4-paw rating scale?
Yeah, it'll be 5. It'll be 5 paws so far.
5 paws? Is that like 4 paws and a tail? Is the tail like that extra bonus?
That would be really funny. Oh, I like that.
I work in marketing. So yeah, so that's great. So that way people can see, and then as they go to the polls, they can.
Yeah, just something to keep in mind, and we want to make sure that people, and obviously any candidate can answer the questions the way that they think that we want to hear, and that's part of the challenge. But I think just engaging with them and getting our mission out there, because not a lot of them know that it's even a problem in the city.
Okay.
So I think I think that's been really important. I've met a lot of really great people. You were there with Paul. He was awesome. He had some really great ideas. So I think we're getting it going.
Okay, great. So what are some of the questions that you ask the candidates?
Sure. So
in general.
Yeah. So some open-ended, some not open-ended. But do you feel that animal welfare and preventing animal cruelty is important in the city of Chicago?
Okay.
So initially we thought maybe putting it on a rating scale, but I don't think that this should be rated against other things because there are a lot of priorities for the city of Chicago. This is just one piece of the puzzle of the things that the city needs to fix. So just to gauge their ideas on whether or not they think this is important or not, that's important for us. And then we also ask them, we show them what the no-kill equation is and actually modified that equation and said, okay, which of these things do you think the city currently has?
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people, including candidates, believe that we have these programs in place that are not.
Yeah.
So that's part of it. And then we ask them, would you support, so this was actually an idea from Paul and it's worked in other cities, so we were very receptive to a suggestion, but would you support the creation of a advisory group made up of animal professionals, the heads of the rescues within Chicago, and this group would directly advise the mayor on all things animal in Chicago, and because the mayor has a lot of things to do, and so do the aldermen. So
and
this
it's
group,
more than just the CACC infrastructure.
Oh, yeah.
Chicago Animal Care and Control, because that's just one area. It's like the center, but with all the rescues and shelters.
Yeah, it's just coordination, and I think there's a lot of things that could be done that aren't being done, and it just kind of gets thrown on the back burner, and I don't think people understand that this also has implications for the community.
Yeah. Okay, so, you brought up Chicago Animal Care and Control. In the past year, we're, over 90% live release? We've got an over 90% live release rate, which means that these animals are getting out of the shelter. So if we're doing that great, what is this going to do on top of that?
Absolutely. So the 90% save rate is something that a lot of people focus on, particularly in reference to no-kill, but our goal isn't to focus necessarily on that 90% because even though the numbers say 90%, we're still euthanizing treatable and rehabilitatable animals.
Okay.
And that's just unacceptable.
And that's not even just at CACC.
Correct.
Right?
So that's the other big part of it. CACC's information and statistics don't include Animal Welfare League, which is a private organization in Chicago, and they also have a Chicago Ridge location. I'm sure a lot of people probably have heard a lot of the issues going on there, but they're one of the open admission shelters in the city, and they take in a lot of animals, and I believe their save rate is around 50%. So
what about anti-cruelty?
So anti-cruelty, again, I think open admission and that they do take animals in from the public, but a large percentage of them are diverted to CICC. So part of my goal, and actually their save rate is not that impressive either at anti-cruelty. I don't think a lot of people realize that. So part of my job now is investigating these things and figuring out, because the numbers only tell you so much. So it's included, asking the Department of Agriculture for some Freedom of Information Act and, getting some of the operating procedures and some of the stats, but it's a lot of investigating, and I think people don't realize that the save rates are not that impressive.
Well, we'll talk after. I've got some leads for you.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
Yes.
It's a lot of stuff.
It is. There's so much to gather. A lot of fact-finding.
Yes.
We have a caller. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, I just wanted to say, I think the way that the situation at the Animal Welfare League in Chicago Ridge was handled was completely wrong. A lot of those people there work awfully hard. They have volunteers. They're trying to do a good job. And then some disgruntled people decide to contact the news media, and the news media loves to jump all over stuff without getting the complete story. Why couldn't those people have volunteered to go in there with bleach, whatever, rubber gloves, and just clean up a little bit?
What you're asking it's a good point, but there's a lot to that that I'm not really sure.
So
an answer.
I wasn't necessarily part of the group that what you're talking about with Animal Welfare League, but I agree that it could have been handled better. But I think a lot of people in the city weren't trying to blame the volunteers. they were upset with the infrastructure. And I think I agree with you with the media, because I think I'm facing this with some of the horse carriage stuff in Chicago. We're trying to get horse carriages banned. The media is not telling the full story a lot of the time, and I think you're right. There's a lot of things that could and should have been done. But overall, you can't argue with the fact that they were killing over 50% of the animals that entered that facility, and that's just unacceptable.
Yeah.
I don't blame the volunteers. I don't blame, I'm not trying to place blame. It's just, it's not acceptable what was going on. But I do agree.
Yeah. All right, thank you for calling. We do have to actually wrap up really quickly. If people want to help you in your efforts, how can they reach out to you?
Sure, so definitely like our Facebook page, Fix Chicago 2019. You can message us through there. Let's see. If you have any information on things that you would like changed in Chicago, I'm actually trying to get a lot of information from people in the community to get their ideas of what needs to be changed, because I'm not all knowing, and I need everyone's opinion. So if you have anything that you need to be you want to tell me, and then also vote.
Yeah.
Make sure you vote.
Voting is important, and you can always reach out to us at the Pat Gotchaday Foundation at patcontact@patgotchaday.com, and we can pass along the information to Jackie. So we'll see you next week, and have a great day.
Oh, so cute.